I, 21F, am pregnant with my BF's 39 meters child and I don't know how to tell him I don't want it. I think he did this on purpose. You do what is right for you and you only. If you don't want it, take care of it yourself. Expect the relationship to potentially end. But better than doing something you don't want to do and hating your life. Do what you need to do. The guy sounds like a creep anyways, dating someone almost half his age. And a 36-year-old being friends with a high schooler sounds super creepy. Seems like he was after her until she turned 18. This relationship needs to end. Relationship? More like abusive entrapment. I'm begging you to hear this. From someone older who has seen this before. This is a much older man who groomed you when you were still a teenager. He will never see you as his equal in any way. He has been intentionally trying to get you pregnant in order to trap and control you further. He does not want you to have your own education and life outside of him. Leave him now. Do not wait and do not have a child that will tie you to him forever. As a female who entered a relationship with a 36-year man when I was 17 over 18, I concur. Are you okay now? I've always been okay. But it seemed preferable to me at the time versus living with my mother. I have no hard feelings towards him. I'm still in contact with some of his family, though not him. But it becomes very obvious what this all was when you watch people your own age have children and nurture them properly. This took place over 30 years ago. There's obviously a huge backstory here that I won't get into. Here are some red flags. 1. He is 18 years older and started dating you when you were barely legal. 2. He knew you were not on birth control and wanted to use condoms and he threw a tantrum and coerced you into having sex you weren't comfortable with. 3. This is a form of sexual assault. 4. He doesn't want you to finish school and he wants you to be financially dependent on him. This is a common tactic of abusers. Look, I'm not trying to be that guy saying it's abusive and he is a predator, but it very much looks that way. At the end of the day, it's your body and I think you should do what you want independent of him. If you want an abortion, then I wouldn't let him deter you. Also, you should consider an IUD or something that you can handle for birth control that can't be sabotaged by a partner. I also encourage you to speak to friends and family and I suspect they will see the red flags too. He also checks her Reddit account. He sounds very controlling. Sounds more like he's a raging control freak. Let me get this straight. A 37-year-old groomed you in high school and then after 2 years of grooming he coerced you into unprotected sex so he could live out his fantasy of a submissive wife that is tethered to him financially and through a kid. Yeah, no. The only thing that you need to be quitting is him, regardless of whether or not you keep the kid. As a 37-year-old male, this is super creepy. High school girls are children. Hell, college girls seem like children to me. At best, this guy is severely emotionally stunted. At worst, he's a predator. You don't want to have his baby either way. Shit, I'm 34 and I have a hard time seeing anyone under 24 to be fully grown. Thank you for all the responses. I think I'm going to have an abortion. My mom expressed some concern when I started dating him and I ignored it then, but I think I'm going to talk to her about it now. I have been living with him for a year and only work part-time, so if I leave him, I will have to move back home temporarily. Don't tell him you're aborting. Tell him you had a miscarriage and have your mom back you up. Feel free to lie. It might save your life. You're under no obligation to tell him anything. And honestly, I think you need to leave him. No one who actually cared about you would pressure you and then fight with you about having sex without birth control. Please don't quit school. If you do, you will only regret it later. Become a mother if and when you're ready for it, and with someone who is more thoughtful toward you. Stay strong. Sweetheart, he is trying to baby trap you into an abusive relationship. You are practically half his age. Think about this. When you were born, he was an adult. When you are born, he was the age he started dating you. Even at 21, do you look at 16 to 18-year-olds as people you would date? Darling, he has shown you that he doesn't care about your wants, needs or thoughts. You didn't want unprotected sex, but he did, and he made you pregnant. You don't want this child and he does. So he wants you to not have education or job and to look after the kid while it grows. He claims you can go back to school, but how do you know he will stick to his word and not force you to be pregnant again? Rethink this relationship. How many things does he and his come first? Do you ever come first? Please think about getting an abortion or an adoption and not continuing your relationship. Take care. Does anyone want to throw hands at this guy? Yes. Disgusting. Firstly, it's not okay that he got upset that you refused. He coerced you into doing it without a condom, which you were already uncomfortable with. He probably knew this would happen. If you don't want the child, then don't keep it. If graduating is the future you want, then go for it. Don't let you being afraid of his reaction get in the way. If you feel like he might react unkindly, then be careful when approaching this situation. But if you don't want the baby, don't have it. Honey, he is a predator and he baby trapped you. Please get away from him as soon as possible. He groomed you. This is not healthy whatsoever. It seems quite abusive. He manipulated you into something you didn't want, and him saying that he will fund your college seems more like a trick to make you quit. I don't think that he will fund your college. You are still very young, and you can find someone who is much better. I highly recommend that you get an abortion, so you don't end up tied to this person. You don't need his permission to terminate your pregnancy. This post is rife with red flags. Girl, it's your body and your choice. It sounds like you're on the right path, so do not let him drag you down. You aren't in a relationship. You're in a prison. The baby is how he hopes to throw away the key. Okay, so many red flags. Get an abortion, say it's a miscarriage, and leave the guy. You were barely legal age and this grown man wanted you, a young submissive girl, to own. And he wants a fantasy of a submissive wife and have kids. Leave him. Get an abortion. Say it's a miscarriage and you want to live with your parents for a while and don't speak to the guy again. You need to finish college and it'll be harder and more expensive in the future. Have kids in like 5 or 6 years. Be financially stable and make sure you have the money first before having kids. Hate to say it, but he's baby trapped you. Don't fall for it. I don't care that you were 19 when you met him. It's an 18-year gap in your ages. He groomed you. He manipulated you into going against your own best interest by having unprotected sex, knowing pregnancy was a strong likelihood. After 2 years, he probably has a good idea of your cycle and decided to initiate sex when he thought it was a good window to get you pregnant. His promise is to support you and let you go back to school after the baby is older are false fantasies. He will use a pregnancy and child to control you. That's why I said let you go back to school. Just like he'll let you have an allowance after the baby is born. He may even let you talk to friends and family that he approves of. Sometimes, he may even let you work, but your checks and cash will be deposited into his accounts or accounts he controls. If you don't want a child right now, if you don't want a child with him, then please look into all your options. That age difference is so many red flags. Holy yes. Step 1 is you say nothing to him ahead of time. Get the abortion as soon as possible and say nothing to him about it. Step 2 is breaking up with him over text, not in person. This man is an abusive predator. He groomed you, had a teen, and got you pregnant on purpose, so it will be harder for you to leave him. Please break it off and tell everyone around you, because it's very likely he will not let you break up with him easily. Your body. More than one body. Want more for yourself? What about your aspirations? If you don't want to have a baby, don't have a baby. It's your decision. You shouldn't be afraid of your partner's reaction. If you are, that's a warning sign. 1. He pressured into having sex /at a condom. He wouldn't accept no means no. He badgered you over it, and knowing you weren't on the pill. 2. He's had the chance to live all these life experiences at 39 and wants you to settle down /him, robbing you of the same opportunities and experiences. 3. It's all about what he wants, but where's the consideration of what you want? 4. He wants you to quit school and have the baby. The percentage of PPL who re-enter college after quitting is very low. 5. Right now, would you befriend a 17 years old? Date a 18 years old? Why not? A 35 years old did that with you. Why? 6. He is your age. There is an inherent power dynamic disadvantaging someone who's had little life experience v someone who's had plenty. 7. Appears he wants you to be completely dependent on him and is controlling. Meet a man who supports your aspirations. Who doesn't want to trap you a baby. Who doesn't force you to do things you don't want to do. Who doesn't monitor what you do and let you be independent. Do not let anyone else control the direction of your life. I cross my fingers that you realize this relationship is no good for you and leave this man. Please update us. Best of luck to you. Abort it without telling him. Dump him. Finish school and find someone else who actually values you. There is nothing of worth for you in this relationship.